Hi friends, today we are going to see the past year NEET questions for the chapter Ecosystem, and today in this video we will cover part 1. Now let's begin with the first question, which was asked in the year 2016. The term ecosystem was coined by dash. Okay, so this is a direct question, you don't have much explanation for this. The right answer is option B, A.G. Tansley. Okay, so the full name is Sir Arthur, A stands for Arthur and G stands for George. Sir Arthur George Tansley was an English botanist and a pioneer in the science of ecology who coined the term ecosystem. Therefore, the correct answer to this question is option B. Next question here. Most animals that live in deep oceanic waters are dash. Okay, so you have 4 options here. Secondary consumers, tertiary detrivorous, okay, detritivores, or you can say like that, primary consumers. Now we'll analyze each option. Now when you talk about secondary, tertiary and primary, you find them in land as well as ocean, but when you come to deep oceanic waters, what will you find there? You will find more dead organic matter, right? The more deep you go, the more debris you find, right? So we need organisms which consume that. So the correct answer is detritivores. Okay, detritivores are the organisms which feed on dead plants and animal residues. Okay, and you have some of the, these are the common detritivore. You have an animal that feeds on detritus of humans via internal digestion. That is different. Okay, I've just given you an example. But when you go to the deep organic, the deep oceanic water, those detritivores are different when compared to this. These you find even in the land part. Okay, so detritivores are the organisms which feed on dead plants and animal residues. Therefore, the correct answer is option C. Next question here. Vertical distribution of different species occupying different levels in the biotic community is known as dash. So you have 4 options here: zonation, divergence, stratification and pyramid, right? So here they are asking about a distribution of different species and they are occupying different levels in the biotic community. This definition goes well for stratification. It is the occurrence of the vertical zonation. What do you call it as? Vertical zonation in the ecosystem and indicates the presence of favorable environmental conditions. For example, trees will occupy the top vertical strata or the layer because they are the primary ones. Forest, shrubs in second will be the herbs, and grass will occupy the bottom layer. It is absent or poor where the environmental conditions are unfavorable. So when we talk about nature, we always consider 2 things. One is favorable and the other is unfavorable, right? When we say favorable, you have all the required resources. When it becomes unfavorable, when the ecosystem goes in scarce, you don't get the proper requirement or the necessity things. So those unfavorable conditions are more prevalent in deserts. Can we make it like that? Yes. Therefore, the correct answer to this question is option A, stratification. Next question here. The mass of living material at the at a trophic level at a particular time is called as dash, and this question was asked in the year 2015. You have standing state, net primary productivity, gross primary productivity. Okay, now what do you mean by the net primary productivity or gross? So what is the difference between gross and net? We always use that terms, right? Gross and net. What is the meaning? See, gross refers to the total amount before anything is deducted. Okay, while net refers to the amount remaining after certain adjustments. This is a common meaning that we know, and this is a common meaning that we use even in accounts. Right, gross is everything without any deduction, the overall amount. Now, for example, it can be your salary. Once the salary comes in, you will deduct. You will pay some for rent, you will pay some for current bill, you will electricity bill, some you'll pay for the grocery and so many things. So net will be the remaining, that is after all the deduction whatever remains. So that I've given you the meaning now. Now here they are asking us the mass of the living material at trophic level at particular time. It is called as standing crop. What is it called as? Standing crop. It is the amount of living biomass in an ecosystem. It indicates the productivity and the luxuriance of the growth. It is expressed in the form of number of biomass of the organisms, and that is calculated per unit area. Okay, always remember this. Okay, therefore the correct answer is option C. Next question here. In an ecosystem, the rate of production of organic matter during photosynthesis is termed as dash. Okay. Now I just now explained you in the earlier question about what is gross and what is net. So here the question is very clear. In the ecosystem, the rate of production of organic matter during photosynthesis. They haven't talked about the deduction thing, because overall process of the photosynthesis, overall energy which has come out, all that we are going to take the whole thing. We haven't deducted anything. So the clue is they haven't deducted anything. So when we haven't deducted anything, what will be the answer? It should be gross. Gross primary productivity, which is called as GPP. You abbreviate it as GPP. In the rate of production of biomass or the accumulation of energy by green plants per unit area per unit time. And this GPP will always depend upon the chlorophyll content. Right? Now, the right answer to this question is option A. Next question here. Which one of the following during decomposition, processes during decomposition is correctly described? Now you have to analyze the statements. Humification leads to the accumulation of dark colored substance humus, which undergoes microbial action at very fast rate. Catabolism, last step decomposition under fully anaerobic condition. And leaching, water soluble inorganic nutrients rise to the top layers of the soil. Fragmentation, it is carried out by the organisms such as earthworm. Now, humification, catabolism and leaching and fragmentation are of course the steps which are involved in decomposition. What do you mean by decomposition? The conversion of the complex materials into simpler forms, right? They operate simultaneously on the detritus, which is a matter, which is the dead living matter. Fragmentation is the actual breakdown of the detritus into smaller particles by the detrivores that we saw, snail, earthworm and all that. And the water soluble inorganic nutrients go down into the soil horizon and they get precipitated in the form of unavailable salts. Okay, and the mistake that humification is right, but the only mistake that they made there in the statement is it will not happen in a fast rate, but it will happen in a slow pace. Out of the four, the correct answer is option D, fragmentation, and that is carried out with the help of the detrivores. That is right. Okay, next question here. Secondary productivity is the rate of formation of new organic matter by dash. Now this question was asked in the year 2013. Very easy question. Secondary productivity is the rate of formation of new organic matter. Secondary. So what is there? The rate of resynthesis of organic matter will happen by consumers, and they are called as a secondary productivity characters. It depends on the loss while transferring energy containing organic matter from the previous trophic level. And also plus the consumption due to the respiration and predation. Respiration loss is about 20% for autotrophs. So you need to know that marking. So it's 20% for autotrophs, 30% for herbivorous, and 60% in case of carnivorous. So the secondary productivity is the rate of formation of new organic matter by consumer. Okay, next question here. The rate of formation of new organic matter by rabbit in a grassland is called as dash. We just now saw about it in the earlier question. So instead of asking here directly as consumer, rabbit is a consumer, right? So we are talking about the secondary productivity here. The correct answer is B. Rabbit is a consumer. So it comes under secondary productivity. Okay. Next question here. The breakdown of detritus into smaller particles by earthworm is called as dash. Even this we discussed in the statements in the earlier question. We saw the process of decomposition, the different steps, humidification, leaching, and all that. Now this detritus, when it is breaking down, it is happening with the help of the detritus. And you had some examples: earthworm, snail, crabs. All these help in that. So that process is called as fragmentation. Yes, that is the right answer. Option B is a right answer. Next question here. Of the total incident solar radiation, the proportion of PAR is dash. So what is actually PAR? What does it stand for? Photosynthetically active radiation. Okay, what is it called as? Photosynthetically active radiation. Okay, so out of the total incident solar radiation, about 50% of it forms the PAR. So it is answer C, less than 50%. Okay, next question here. The biomass available for consumption by the herbivorous and the decomposers is called as dash. Okay, now the biomass which is available for consumption, that is, you're taking the concept of, you're taking two concepts into two organisms into consideration. One is decomposers and herbivorous, and they are actually the primary productivity. Then they are the net primary productivity, because decomposers, they produce, it is equal to the rate of organic matter created by the photosynthesis, and it will minus with the rate of respiration and the other losses. So the biomass available for consumption by herbivorous and the decomposers is called as a net primary productivity. Okay, so how does it equal to? It is equal to the rate of organic matter created by photosynthesis minuses the rate of respiration and other losses. So it is actually, what to say, it is actually somehow managing to cope up for the loss. So there's a balance there. Therefore the correct answer is option A. Next question here. About 70% of the total global carbon is found in dash. This is very easy question. We all know what the answer is. Whenever we talk about the total global carbon, and that too it's about 70%, it is found in the oceans. This oceanic reservoir will regulate the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Atmosphere contains only about 1%, and mostly if you see, the carbon will be in the combined form. They will not be in the pure form. But when we talk about the pure form, it is mostly the oceans. Okay, next question here. The slow rate of decomposition of fallen logs in nature is due to their dash. Okay, fallen logs. What should be the answer here? It is not because of the pure nitrogen content, anaerobic environment. It is because of the low moisture content. Why? Low moisture content will lead to the decrease in the number of decomposers, because decomposers need an optimum moisture for their growth and functioning. Therefore, the slow rate of decomposition will fall down because or when there is no or less moisture content. Therefore, the correct answer is option A. See, these questions you don't have to have much explanation. It's very well understood. Mostly if you see the dead organic matter, the decomposers which act on them, if you see the area where it happens, you always find moisture there. You always find the area to be damp, marshy. That's how it looks. So that moisture content is required for their action. Okay, therefore the correct answer is A. Next question here. Which one of the following ecosystem types has the highest annual net primary productivity? So this question was asked in the year 2007. Okay, you have four here: tropical deciduous forest, temperate deciduous forest, temperate evergreen, and tropical rainforest. Now, we're talking about the highest annual net primary productivity, and that is in the tropical rainforest. They are found in the equatorial regions of the rainfall exceeds, and the exceed should be about more than 140 centimeter. Only then you'll get that productivity rate. The warm humid climate supports a broad level of evergreen plants, and productivity is very high. The vegetation shows stratification in two or more well-defined layers. So you have the productivity I mean the scale here, which is 12,000 kilocalories meter squared per year. So imagine how much, whatever be the production, there should be some input for it to produce. Therefore, the correct answer to this question is option D. Next question here, which of the following is expected to have a high value, okay, in a grassland of ecosystem? So this is again a direct question. You don't have to confuse yourself. So which is the highest value? If you see, it might be gram or it might be meter squared or year, whatever, it is the gross production, because that is what I told you. Without any deduction, when we take in everything into account, we have to take the gross production. Okay, so highest value will come only for GPP or GP. Grasslands will have the highest value of gross production. Net production is obtained after subtracting, because the rest of the values, if you see, they will only happen, or you'll get the value after minusing or subtracting. So if you talk about gross production, without any deduction or minusing, you take the whole value as such. So when you talk about the highest value, it will obviously fall under gross production, therefore C. Okay, so with this we complete the first part of ecosystem. Hope to meet you in the next part of the same chapter. Thank you.